Round two, we on. All right, sweet.
Hopefully.
Trouble behavior with tequila makes me wanna say, yeah, yeah. I met her in Mexico.
Hey, yo, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to the Webway. Been tried to do this podcast a few times now, but we're getting there. Obviously, technical difficulties, but good to have you on, brother. It's been a long time. Been trying to get the bro on for a while now, so it's good to finally tee it up with everything that's going on in the world, busy schedules and whatnot. But for people that don't know who you are, bro, do you want to say who you are and what you do?
Yo, so Webby, good to be here tonight, brother. It's LIMA SOPOAGA, current rugby player in the UK, playing for Wasps. Yeah, bro, it's just a guy from Wellington, a place I love, and we went to school together, so it's good to connect and be able to sit here and chat on your podcast again, bro.
Awesome, brother. Yeah. It's obviously I've known Sops, bro, about high school days. He's a few years above me, but yeah, known him for. But he played a bit of b-ball, and then obviously I swept him up on that, so he had to go play another sport. But bro, what have you been up to, brother? How's the fams? Obviously a weird time we're in right now, and it must be cool, being able to stay at home, hang out with your fams. But how are they, and how's it been being at home?
Yeah, it's been different. Like I haven't spent this much time at home and forever. So I guess for me and my family, it's been good to really connect and really be able to share some special moments throughout this lockdown. I know not everybody has enjoyed lockdown, and it's been difficult for a lot of people, but I think for me personally, I think it's been a bit of a blessing to be able to share some special moments with my two kids and my partner. But yeah, I know there are a lot of people out there doing it pretty tough at the moment. So every day we just kind of practice a bit of gratitude and really be grateful for what we have and for what we're able to do. So we get out to the park and every day, even if it's raining or whatnot, and just try and get outside once a day, and then spend as much time as we can with each other. But nursery has started back, so thank the Lord. Kids are going back to school this week. So my two kids do a couple of days each at daycare, and I think that's really important for them, but also give mum and dad a break.
Bro, hard. No, that's mean. So what does a typical day look like for you in lockdown?
So lockdown looks like one of us will get up in the morning. So most of the time it's my missus. I'm just sleeping my way through. But I try to get up when and where I can possible. But some will get up early, do the kids' breakfast, and then the other one might go do some training or something in the morning, and then when they get back, we just swap, and then we'll get out, take the kids for a walk, go to the park. There's some awesome parks where I live. Live in a place called Leamington Spa, so it's kind of like a old English little town kind of thing. But go for a walk, come back, have some lunch. One of the kids will go down and have a nap, and then we'll try to go back for another walk. Maybe go try find the ice cream truck. Like the old school Mr. Whippy ones.
Yeah.
They used to come out. Yeah, there's been a few of those out lately. They don't play the music though, but you get the old soft serve, and kids are happy as.
Watch those skin folds, bruss. Come on.
Nah, bro. Just train hard, eat good.
That's
all it's about. Have a treat every now and then.
So, bro, speaking of fams and lockdown, what's it like being a father, bro? Because obviously you've been a dad for a few years now. How's that whole experience been?
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome, mate. Like for me, I guess I was probably one of those guys coming through that didn't really I loved kids. I come from a big family, one of 6 kids, so always had brothers and sisters around and cousins and things like that. But you know, I always kind of thought, oh, I'll just have kids later when I'm, you know, sort of finished rugby and done my travels around the world and things like that. But, you know, life doesn't work like that. And, you know, I've been blessed to have 2 kids, and honestly, it just changes your life, changes your whole perspective. And I've been, I think my life only really started when my daughter Miller came along, and then her sister Isla. So I think it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy to think what life would be like without them. And now that I have them, I couldn't imagine life without them.
That's awesome, bro. As you say, perspective. It's because it's not about you anymore, eh? It's about, you know, them. You know, you're the one passing on. You're the one passing the torch on or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy. Obviously, I can't speak on it because I haven't got any kids. But from what all my friends and have said, it's crazy. You never have the feeling that you do that you have for your kids. You know, so good on you, brother. You seem to be on a good track, and it's cool. It's cool to see, bro. I guess knowing you for a long time, you know, seeing this side of you, which is awesome.
It's not all sunshine and rainbows, though. You know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes, you know, you see the funny video clips or whatever on Instagram and things like that. But bro, it's hard work. It's tough. You know, like tough trying to be an example for your kids, or you know, sometimes they just frustrate you or whatever. But there's that one moment during the day where they just like do something real crack up or say something funny, or you know, like fall over and hit their head, but they get up and they just start cracking up, and you're just like, wow, that was a pretty hard fall, but you know what I mean? So it is rewarding, but it's also incredibly challenging at the same time. But I guess, you know, for parents out there, they wouldn't have it any other way.
For sure. No, that's awesome, bro. So what I want to do, I want to turn the time all the way back. Obviously born and raised and the hut, some would say, A-Town.
Yeah.
So, you know, tell us a little bit about that, bro, because I know you lived on a street that was, you know, you had a few professional players come off that street or that suburb or that sort of town. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing and growing up around that area, bro.
Yeah, I guess I'm very fortunate. My upbringing, you know, mum and dad's Samoa, mum's Cook Island, and we ended up growing up in a place called Ellistown out in Lower Hutt, and a street called Wakefield Street, and I was lucky enough to grow up with one of my best mates, Jordan Kahu, who plays now at the Broncos and played for the Kiwis, and his older brother Jared. So they were like our best mates, and obviously I had my brothers, Toop, Zeke, and Tuka, and then my sisters came along eventually. But it's, you know, like you're sort of working class family. You know, mum worked during the day in insurance, and dad worked night shift at Courier Post. So while we didn't always have the best of everything, we had everything that we needed, and that was always really important. And it was always something that, you know, looking back now as a father myself, I realized that the sacrifices that my parents had to make and the things they probably gave up their own dreams so that me and my brothers and sisters were able to live out ours. And, you know, I guess I'm testament to that I got to live sort of like every boyhood dream in New Zealand, and I got to play rugby for a living. So, yeah, I think when I look back to that, I'm extremely grateful for that time in my life and for the many sacrifices my parents made. And, you know, we had a lot of fun growing up. You know, we didn't, like I said before, we didn't have the best of everything, and but we certainly had enough. And our house was always full of love and full of laughter. So that was all that mattered. And that is something that can get you through no matter what.
Yeah, it's crazy though, bro. Thinking of for people that don't understand, Ellistown and the hut is what? How many people do you think would live in Ellistown, bro?
It's a pretty small suburb, eh?
It's small. It's real small.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like kind of like between the Petone Bridge and the Lower Hutt Bridge. So it's, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people.
Yeah, so
or 2,000, and the suburb of just Ellistown before you sort of go to Petone and sort of other areas of the Hutt.
Yeah,
it's pretty tiny.
it's crazy. So obviously, what 2,000 people, let's say, live in Ellistown, and as Lima just said himself, obviously All Black. His brother Tupou, who played league, and he came over and played professional union as well. Jordan Kahu played professional league. Jared Kahu, I know you played for the Lions for a bit of pro, and then obviously your brother Tuka and Zeke, massive rugby players. I know sister plays basketball. So basically, you know, in this small Ellistown, they've got all these massive athletes coming out. And for me, growing up, it's always been like, I know you guys are like A-Town. It's like, shut up. But really, it's like, it's fucking awesome, bro. You see so much talent come out of that. And do you think that's just random, or do you think that you guys sort of pushed each other to be the best form, like athletes you can be?
Yeah, I guess we were lucky in sort of like the area that we grew up. I think there were a lot of sort of rugby players at the time already kind of coming up.
Yeah.
So I guess the guys we looked up to were guys like Ben Maralino and there was another guy, Josh Alomai, and Ash Parker, Matt Luamanu, sort of guys who went on and, you know, played professional. But sort of as you're coming up, as you're, you know, 10, 12, 13, 14, whatever, these were the guys sort of older than us, all starting to like crack it and stuff. And so you're like, oh man, you know, if these guys can do it, maybe I might be able to do one day. Or, you know, you just have these silly little dreams that maybe you'll be able to do it if you know, you work hard enough or whatever. And I guess as a kid, you're pretty naive to the fact that, you know, it is pretty hard to crack professional sports, you know, like especially in a country like New Zealand, which its main sort of sport is rugby union. So yeah, I think we had some pretty good guys to look up to, and I guess we just were like any guys underneath, just kids with silly dreams, hoping that, you know, maybe that might be us.
Yeah. No, that's dope, bro. And then obviously grew up in Ellistown, went to the mighty Wellington College, bro. So why did you go to Wellington College? What was, because I'm guessing living in the hut, because you went out to Wellesley, or was that Tupou?
No, that was all my three younger brothers, bro. They all went to Wellesley except for me. I'm like the only one who went to like public schools my whole life.
So did you just go to Wellington College on the ballot?
Oh, bro, it's actually pretty crazy why I went to Wellington College. So in third form, I actually went to Hutt Valley High because I didn't get into Wellington College. Tried to get into Wellington College, tried to get to St. Pat's Town, tried to get to Silverstream, tried to get in St. Bernard's. None of them would let me in.
Shit.
Like, because I was out of zone, or, you know, at St. Pat's, like, not Catholic or whatever. And obviously went to college, I was, you know, definitely out of zone. So I went to Hutt Valley High, and, you know, I went with, you know, my best mate, Jordan Curry. So, you know, every day, like, either he would come to my house and we'd walk sort of along the riverbank and walk to high school, or I'd go to his house and we would walk along sort of like the main road, sort of 15 minutes from our house. So, yeah, I was just like, sweet. After a year at Hutt Valley High, you know, like it's co-ed, you know, like you're like, ooh,
let's go.
You know, think you're the man, you know, like girls are there and stuff. And you're like, yo, that's me, Hutt Valley High, that's me. I'm sort of.
You're the Dax Waxer. You're like.
Yeah, bro, you know, straighten out, whatever. But yeah, after that first year, I was just kind of like, oh, yo, this is it. And me and Jordan were kind of like, you know, kind of good at rugby at the time, you know. So, you know, we were just kind of like two kids coming out of the area, and then they were, you know, hopefully going to make Hutt Valley High for 15, and, you know, maybe not third form, but, you know, hopefully fourth form or whatever. Getting up. But it was about 2 weeks before school started in my year 10 or fourth form year, and I was like, oh, Mum, I need to get my like books and shit for school. And then she's like, oh, son, come sit down, blah blah blah. I was like, oh yeah, this is weird, like I just need my books for school. I'm about to start my fourth form year, you know, Hutt Valley High. I'm like, yo, can't wait, run it back, you know, second time. Yeah, I'm not a third form, you know, I'm fourth form now, so I'm like, I'm going to be a big dog. And so I was like, yeah, sweet. And then she's like, oh, you're not going back to Hutt Valley High? I was like, hey. And she's like, she's like, yeah, I enrolled you at Wellington College. You're going to Wellington College. And I just remember like hating my mum, bro. Like, and like I was like, nah, I'm not going. And I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And she's like adamant, like, you're going to Wellington College and that's that. Like, that's it. And I was like, nah, I'm not going. I'm not going. And then she was like, okay, well, and my dad was even like, nah, he can stay at high. And my mom was like, nah, you know, like he's going.
Yeah.
That's it. I was like, okay, fine. So I was like, don't even want to go to this stink school, like stuff this school. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it. She's like, okay, give it one term. If you hate it that much, you can go back to Art High. And then what ended up happening? Oh, I went to McKivity, bro. Went to McKivity, and then after that, I was sold. I was like, this is the greatest school ever. I'm staying. You know, I liked it so much, I even went back for a second year. That's how much I loved it, bro.
Have to make up for lost time, bro? Because that third form year at Hubbly High.
Yeah, bro. I wasn't official. My brothers always used to say that I wasn't a pure Wellingtonian because I went to Hubbly High for 3 years. So I only had 4 years under the belt, you know, instead of 5. So, you know, made sure I had 5.
That's crazy, bro. Because I know people that aren't familiar with the ballot. Basically, you put your name in a hat, and if you get picked out, it's like a really low chance. If you're out of zone, you get picked out of a hat. And then if you get picked out, you go to the college. But if not, you got to go elsewhere. And I know it's a little bit easier to get in year 10, but there's so many people that don't make it. Like, for example, a friend of mine, Dion Prewster, who went to Silverstream in year 9 because he couldn't go to Wellington College in year 9 and then ended up coming in year 10. It's a crazy little system, bro? So did you play under 15s when you went to year 10?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Like started playing rugby and, you know, trying to make new friends and whatnot. It was a real weird experience for me because I had just lived in the hut my whole life. So, you know, catching the train and then having to catch the bus from the train station was all like foreign. And I was just like, what the hell? And I didn't really know anybody at the time. But lucky enough for me, Jordan's older brother, Jared, ended up transferring from Hut High. I think he did second year 7 as well. So this was his sort of second year 7 and he went to go into college. So I ended up just like, you know, like hanging out with him. Yeah. But it was weird because Jared was at Wellington College, but Jordan was still at Hut High.
What was that?
And that was like my best mate because my mum just made a decision and she was just like, yeah, sweet. But Jordan was like, oh, I'm staying at Hubbly High. So like, fuck, I felt like the maddest trader, eh? Like all my mates were still at Hut High and like even another college, St. Bernard's, and I felt like I was leaving everybody behind, bro. I remember like having to tell them and I was like crying, bro, because I was moving schools and it was I look back, I'm like, fucking hell. Are you all good? But, yeah,
but
it was a crazy time.
Gee, you're right, because like back in the day, I remember when people used to change schools, it was a massive deal, bro. It was like, no, you're the man, like you're a trader. Whereas now, bro, especially in the basketball scene, like, bro, like people go from Rongotai to Wellington College to St. Pat's all in 1 year. And I'm like, bro, if that's happened back in the day, gee, it'd be soft hidings. Straight
up. Man. So like, I just felt like the biggest imposter, bro. And then like, you know, like I would catch the train or something with my uniform and I just felt like, because kids would walk past my house to go to Hubbly High.
Yeah.
The back way, there's like a riverbank there where you can kind of walk across the train bridge and stuff like that. So I would see Hubbly High kids and I would remember like them kind of like looking at me like, look at you with your uniform. Who do you think you are? Like, you know what I mean? I was just
city
like,
boy.
Man, yeah, I want to come home, but like, it ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me going to that school.
Yeah, because I was going to get onto that. So we'll just skip to first 15. I remember when I went to school, I think it was year 10 when you were, I think, first year 7th form. I don't know about the second one, but anyway, when I got there, bro, it was like you, Hane Pale, you guys had a really, really good first 15 team. Were you in that team in 5th form?
Nah. So I was one of those like young dudes, bro, who could. That's
under 15s.
I got to go back. So I went under 15s, and then after that, I did 3 years in the first 15.
Yeah, and
6th form, 7th form, and 7th form.
And yeah, who was like for people that don't understand how good that team was, who were some of the players that were in the team now that people may know of?
Like we had, like the guys that I played with, like currently there's one here at Wasp, Jeff To'omanga. He played like 100 games for the Hurricanes, played for All Blacks. There was a guy, Buxton Popoalii.
Bruh.
He was electric at school, crazy. Played New Zealand Sevens. He had to stop rugby though because of his heart.
Yeah. For people that don't know who Buxton is, back at high school when you used to be like Kobe and you used to like, rest in peace, used to shoot and like go for the bin. Bro, once to college, people used to be like Buxton and like pretend to step. Like that's how much of an influence he had at Wellington College. It was crazy seeing him play in high school. Like he would just like run through the whole team sort of thing, eh?
Yeah, bro. And in my first year, I ended up, I don't know how because I'm so fast right now, but I was a winger, bro, in my first year.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was the fullback. And like, no shit, he would make line breaks from our own 22 and I'll be like running next to him and it'll be like simple draw and pass and I'd score. But instead of like drawing a pass, he would like run it around, like pretty much around me and then around the fullback and score a try. And after a while, bro, as soon as he made a break, I was like, oh, ladies, I'm not supporting because you don't pass me the ball. He's just gonna score.
He was a freak though, eh, bro? Like I was like, when I saw about his heart and stuff, I was so like sad, bro, because I feel like he could have done massive things. Obviously in sevens he did massive things, but yeah, in high school it was crazy. So who else was in your team?
We had guys like Hayden Cripps, he's played in Japan, played in NZ as well. Reggie, he was unbelievable.
Reggie Goods.
He played for the Hurricanes. And he had to retire unfortunately for concussions. But yeah, there was quality players at high school.
Yeah, and then at high school, like when was the point where you were like, "Fuck, I can actually potentially make a career out of this"? Was there sort of that point where you were like, I can do it?
Yeah, I think it was maybe sixth form where I was kind of like just thinking about it, because as a kid you have all these dreams and you think they're pretty silly, and then sort of as you're starting to get older, and I started to make a few rep teams and things like that, and that's when I kind of was like, oh man, I could maybe do this, I could maybe achieve my dream, and at that time, it was probably sixth form. I was like, oh, yeah, we'll just see how it goes. And then seventh form came, and then I was last year at school, and then I missed out on NZ schools, and I was just like, I'm coming back. I'm gonna run it back again.
Run it back, baby.
Back, and then, yeah. And so it was probably, those 2 years. And then my repeat year, I was just like all in. And that's when, a bunch of us came back, and we kind of had our own program, bro. So I only had to go to like 2 classes a day or something like that, or like 3 classes a day, and they had us doing like for 2 of the periods we could go and do like gym or like go do fitness or something. So there was a group of us kind of all doing that while
that's awesome.
at school. So that was kind of like, now they kind of like have a sports program, and most high schools that are kind of into their sports, we were kind of like the guinea pigs for that, I think. And so, they kind of gave us a lot of leeway. I remember one of my days, I didn't start school till after morning tea.
Fucking hissing. Silly one.
Yeah, bro. I think it was on a Thursday too, and I think I remember a few student nights on the Wednesday I might have gone out and gone to like Hope Rose or something like that, and then started school on Thursday, like 11:30. So it's like, oh yeah, it's sweet.
That's hissing, bro. Like I remember back, I think I was year 10 at the time, but people that don't know, you've got a hissing work ethic, bro. And I don't know if you remember, but when I used to play basketball, we used to have trainings after school. We'd finish training and you'd be down on the field kicking with, I think it might have been your partner at the time, or someone would be getting your kicks. How often did you do that, bro? Have you always had a work ethic like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just really enjoyed like doing that stuff because like I'd see it on YouTube clips or like see it on like TV, and so I was like, oh, okay, I've got to practice my kicks, or whatever, or go to the gym or whatever. I guess I just had it in my mind. I was like, oh, when I knew that I was going to be all in, I was like, I had to be all in as like a kid. So I felt Wellington College, the school, actually instilled that in me, like because we had really good coaches and we had really good like staff who really put the effort into their students. So we had guys like there was Mr. Wells and Rawsey and Charlin, and they always like put extra effort in sort of after school during lunch times or things like that. So and it was a school that there were so many good players at the school that you kind of had to be working pretty hard, because everybody was striving to be the best. And I guess that was something that I learned, was that there's no shame in giving your best at school, whereas I think back to high, I just wanted to be like the cool dude, like I don't want to be seen as like a try hard, you know what I mean? But at Wellington College, like they were like telling you, like do your best, like compete kind of thing, and I think that's where it kind of stemmed from.
Yeah. And I remember, rugby at Wellington College was bloody huge, and this is how big it was. When I was playing for the Senior A basketball team, sometimes we'd rock up to our basketball trainings, and if it was a rainy day, the third 15 would be doing line-out training on our court. So and then they'd just be like, sorry, bro, you guys, we're in here before you. And just think about it, they're the third best rugby team, which is still obviously pretty good. We're the top basketball team. We're going to training, which we've already hired out for after school. We're going in there, all of us are ready to go, and the coach for the third 15 are like, sorry guys, we've got the court today. So that's just to put it into perspective how big rugby was at Wellington College. It was out the gate. But going back to your work ethic, bro, I think putting in those sort of putting in that time at a young age, you think that sort of instilled the work ethic in you going forward, like being a really good kicker that you are today. I feel like it's not any coincidence that you putting in the mahi in when you're younger and kicking every day after school when you're 15 or whatever, and you being one of the best kickers to come out of NZ. Do you think that sort of that work ethic is driving you to the player you are today?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you hear it all the time, like you don't get anywhere without hard work. So I guess the days where I was able to, kick a ball around at school, when no one was watching, kind of like led me to be able to kick a ball around when you had thousands of fans in stadiums. So it's definitely helped. It's definitely been something that's stuck with me throughout my career. Because to be fair, bro, like I wouldn't say I'm the most talented player, coming through. I wasn't, like I definitely know guys back in the heart who definitely had way more talent than me, like faster, stronger, better skills, whatever. But, I kind of just always had it from the old man. He always used to say, talent will only get you so far. And that was kind of something that's always stuck with me. So just always remembered that in the back of my mind, that my talent was only going to get me so far, and that the things that would hopefully help me achieve my dream would be all the other things behind it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Nah, yeah, for sure, bro. But yeah, kudos to you, bro. Honestly, I don't know if many people knew that, but I fucking remember you putting in that mahi, and it's awesome, bro. It reminds you of a bit like Steve, bro. Steve Adams, name drop. When he used to train every morning at 5:30 a.m., bro, regardless of anything that's going on in his life. He's there every day, and it's no coincidence that he's fucking on 100 million now for 3 years. Like he deserved that shit, bro. He did it when no one else was watching, So kudos to you, brother. But I could talk about Wellington College all day, bro, because I'm a proud old boy. But we'll move on. So after Wellington College, you played in Wellington for a little bit, eh? How was that? You played for the Lions, sorry. How was that?
Yeah, so I ended up leaving my sort of 8th form year in 2009, and then 2010. By this stage, I had already kind of signed a contract to be signed in Wellington, so I was kind of like an academy player, like get a few dollars here and there. I think my first academy contract was like 16 grand, I was like, fuck, I'm rich.
I've cracked it, boys. Let's go. My shout.
Yeah. So I was like, bro, I'm rich, and so I ended up doing that in so in 2009, heading into 2010. So this was my first time that I left school. So I'm like, okay, I've never had money during school because I was always playing sport. I'm going to go work. So I just did anything I could.
Yeah.
Wash cars. You know that car yard that's by the Basin Reserve?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the corner, Mitsubishi or whatever it was called back then. Yeah, bro, I used to work there, like washing people's cars.
Hey.
Yeah, bro. So I'd go to training. We'd do academy training at I think it was like 6 till 7:30 at Rugby League Park with Hurricanes currently train now. So I'd go there, do my training, have a shower, and then I'd go drive to work, and then I'd wash cars, bro. I'd wash cars till about 5 o'clock, and then we'd have training again for Wellington that evening, and then I'd just go back to training and then drive all the way home. So yeah, I used to wash cars, bro.
That's that mahi puff.
Yeah, and I had no money at the time, so I used to when I was washing the cars, I remember I'd pull out people's ashtrays and I'd be like, oh sweet, they got heaps of coins, and take $2 out and then go to the vending machines that they were in the smoker room, and I'd be like, oh yo, sweet. There's
Lunch sorted.
My cookie time and some green waves or something like that. Yeah, bro. Struggle was real back then, man. Struggle was real.
Bruh. True. So you went and played, got a contract for the Lions, and then what was your experience like at the Lions? Because I know not long after that you went down and played for the Stags, but what was the whole experience like, growing up in Wellington, watching the Lions, your whole life? I guess you went to a few of the games and putting on that jersey for the first time.
Bro, it was wicked, eh? It was awesome. I remember, I think I was on the bench for 4 weeks straight or something like that and never got on.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think, in 2010, I ended up making the team, and Jamie Joseph was the coach, and there was a few of us young boys. So, I think it was sort of me. TJ ended up getting called in, I think. Guys like Whaitone Fili, Rodney Soyalo, he was kind of coming to the end of his career, and Namia Tialata. Guys like that. Who else? Oh, Jules was obviously in the team.
Yeah.
I think Brad Shields as well. Brad Shields was in the team. So there was a whole bunch of us young boys who were kind of just coming through at the time. So yeah, it was awesome. It was an unreal experience. I'm just 18 years old, buzzing out because I'm hanging around some of my idols.
Yeah.
Piriwipu's still there, and sort of Mutton on who's floating in and out. He's still with All Blacks at this time, so he's kind of floating in and out. So I'm just kind of just rubbing shoulders with these dudes, and I don't know cafe culture or anything like that at this point. All I know is chop chicken and bloody crackers. So I'm yeah, even sushi and stuff, bro. I remember those boys took me out to sushi. They actually took me out to Merck's, bro, one time.
Oh,
my very first time. So
silly
this would have
one.
been in 2010 when we were playing North Harbour. So they were like, oh yeah, this Tialata, Soyalo, and I think Faifili above it, and they took me to Merck's, and I was when I first got in there, no shit, bro, I was like, what is this shit?
Bro, same. You're
I'd never eaten out or anything like that. So they were like, oh bro, try the wonton noodle soup. And so I was like, okay, I'll have a wonton noodle soup. And I remember eating the wontons and thinking, fuck, this is disgusting. I'd never had wontons before. So, those guys were awesome dudes, and the fact that they kind of helped us along and took us under their wings and sort of showed us things. So that was probably the coolest part about my first couple of years. Was I didn't know a lot about sort of anything. I'd just gone to school and then worked, and now I'm playing rugby, and these guys have traveled the world and had life experiences, and they were kind of sharing those things with me and a few of the other young boys, and some of those things that I've been able to keep with me and pass on to the younger guys, because essentially that used to be me, and
Yeah.
that was something that they always kind of like, like harped on about, was that one day it'll be my turn in their shoes, and to make sure you kind of look after the young boys coming through.
Yeah. Oh, that's dope, bro. So how many games do you play for the Lions?
I think I played like 43, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was a couple of seasons, 2010, 11, 12, and 13, I think. Yeah.
And then
And 13.
what was the whole transition there? Because I guess the natural progression would play for the Canes, but I guess you ended up going down to the Stags and playing with the Landers, which you had a really successful, stint down there. But what was the reason why you didn't go and stay with the Canes?
Yeah, so what happened was, bro, in 2010, Jamie Joseph was the head coach of the Lions, and he actually got the Highlanders job as well. So the way it worked is he was heading down like halfway through the season to, start his role with the Landers and whatnot. And I was playing my sort of Lions campaign through that back end of the year. And then the Hurricanes kind of said, we want you for a wider training spot contract.
Yeah.
So, bro, soon I was like, we were just verbally talking. I was like, sweet, boom, that's me. I'm, dream come true. I'm going to be in the Hurricanes. So I was like, oh, yeah, sweet, done. I cracked it, stoked, like this is my dream. And then I get a phone call from Jamie Joe, and he's just like, hey, bro, I want you to come down to Dunedin. And I was just like, oh, look, man, there's no point in me coming down because I've got a wider training spot contract here. And he's like, oh, I don't want you for a wider training spot contract. I want you to be in the full squad.
Shit.
So, yeah, so I was just like, holy. And then obviously I went back to the Hurricanes, and I think Mark Hammett was the incoming coach or whatever. And I was like, look, I really want to be here. I'd love to be here. This is my home. I watched these guys my whole life. I'd like to stay. Can you give me a full contract? And at the time, for whatever reason, they just pretty much said, nah, it's a wider training squad contract. And I was just like, sweet, stuff it. I'm going to go down south and
have
a full contract. And then that's what I did, bro. And at the back end of 2010, Sean Tremie was actually going down at the time, and he had already been signed. So I was like, bro, is that us? And he's like, yeah, sweet, we'll live together. And then the rest is history. He's one of my best mates, and yeah, I ended up spending nine seasons with the Landers.
That's crazy, bro. That is crazy. The Canes give you up like that, and bro, but they're regretting it now. Bloody hell! I don't know. Are you watching Super Rugby right now, bro?
Yeah, bro, I am. I miss rugby. It's pretty cool to see that New Zealand's up and running, and crowds are back, and like it just looks like fun, man. Those New Zealand derbies are pretty crazy, like tough games. Like they're honestly like test matches, and yeah, it's pretty awesome to see the boys going. Obviously, some of my good mates for the Hurricanes are not going so well at the minute, but hopefully they can turn around pretty soon.
Yeah. I mean, people do say it's hard on the body playing the, playing week over week, and especially New Zealand teams. But the Canes, bro, I mean, obviously Bodie's left. You being a Wellington boy, currently in the UK right now, not playing for coronavirus reasons. Say I'm Hurricanes coach, and I'm like, yo, Lima Sops, bro, we need you. Come back, brother. What are you saying, bro?
Oh, bro, I'm saying you got no money left. You're paying Artie and TJ and too much money, bro. There's no salary cap left.
Far. So that's the reason, bro. Is that or more like you've obviously got your commitments with the Wasps and all that's going on. You couldn't just leave and go to the Canes right now, could you?
Nah, can't, bro. I got one more year left on my deal, so just gonna see that through. Going to see my last year out of my contract, and whatever will be from that, whether I stay on here or go somewhere else and test other waters, or maybe even come home and try and see what happens if the Hurricanes might offer me a job. Hint, hint. Nah.
hint. Come on, boy.
But like you never say never to those things, and that's something that's always, would be close to my heart. Would be coming home and at some point and trying to play for my hometown. All my family's here at the moment, and I know my brother Toops. He's working pretty hard in Wellington right now, and he talks about to me a lot about how he just loves being at home, loves connecting with the community again, loves being around people we grew up our whole lives, because he lived in Sydney for sort of 7-8 years or whatever, 9 years, and he reckons coming home just feels right, just feels special. And our mates who are all the same age all have kids together, and all our mums and dads are all friends and stuff, and to be down at our local rugby club together, sharing good times with our own kids now, and it's something that would definitely pull me home.
Yeah, for sure. Fuck, man. After next year, brother, the Canes need some help, bro, at 10. So please come home, brother. Come on. So I guess, as I said, you went down to the Highlanders and you had a massive stint there. But I remember I've read something in 2013, you actually got offered a contract while you were down there to go to Japan, eh? What was the reason you didn't take that, bro?
Yeah, so 2013, bro, that was like a horrible year for the club, a horrible year for me personally in terms of performances. I remember having my worst performance of my career in 2013, and that's when the coach dragged me, bro, in the 37th minute.
Yeah, I remember.
So like 3 minutes to go to half time. Fuck, bro, that was so depressing. We look back now and then we just crack up laughing, but at the time, honestly, I just wanted to dig myself a hole, jump in and bury myself. But yeah, so that was just a tough time for the club. We went 0-8 the first 8 games, bro. So we lost all our games. And by that stage, we were only halfway through the season, bro. But our season was done. We were finished. We couldn't even make the playoffs or anything, and we had a stacked team. So yeah, I ended up, I think during that year, I got offered a contract to go to Japan, and it was something that I seriously considered. I just gone through injuries, poor form, and it was a pretty hefty sized contract for a guy who'd never played any sort of higher level apart from Super Rugby, and I was playing pretty poorly, and just not really living up to the so-called potential. And I ended up talking to a lot of people, sort of my circle, outside my circle, just getting different perspectives. And one of the people who I talked to was Nasi Manu, and at the time he'd been in Dunedin for a little while, and he pretty much just said to me, bro, that I was too young to be leaving at 23 or whatever, and that my best years were in front of me, and to just give it one more crack and when the time, and that he said that you'll know when the time was right to leave. And
yeah,
and he said kind of don't give up on your dream, to be in the All Blacks or whatever. And I was just like, man, this contract will be life changing. And then but I remember this conversation vividly, and I just remember him saying, you got time on your hands, you can do this. And so I was just like, okay, sweet. I ended up staying, and then the following year we made the playoffs for the first time in 12 years, and then the year after that I became an All Black. So it's crazy. It's crazy what can happen in a couple of years. If I leave for that contract, I'm probably still in Japan right now. Speaking fluent Jap and eating sushi. But I'm over on the UK. Having achieved my dream and traveled the world with a team that is held in the highest regard. So yeah, life is crazy like that, eh, bro?
Bro, hard. Just turns around just like that. But that's some massive advice from Nasi Manu, though, bro. Shout out to him, bro, because I'm a firm believer in life. There's a few people that seriously influence you, and I think that must have been one of your times where you're like, shit, this is do or die here. I can go to Japan and then see how I go over there, or I can just stay and try crack it. And I think he sort of pointed you in the right direction. So that's massive, bro. And you were also saying, how you went and 2 years later you played for the All Blacks, got the black jersey on, bro. So that's unbelievable, going from, as you say, starting at 0-8, losing your first 8 games, and 2 years later you're a bloody All Black. That's unbelievable. Talk us through, getting that first call, or from, the All Blacks coach saying, Lima, you're going to put on the black jersey.
Yes, I was 215. We had just played the Chiefs at home. So we'd made the finals again. And we got the home quarterfinal, so we played the Chiefs. They were pretty good. I think they were, they were pretty stacked. And we ended up beating them at home. And it was Sunday, bro. So I knew the team was getting named at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or whatever it was. And then, you just can't get away from it in this day and age, 215, social media, things like that. People are saying, this guy's going to, he's going to be a bolter. He's going to get in, he's going to. And this is World Cup year. So I'm thinking, fuck, man, there's no way they're going to take me in the initial squad, because they only had a handful of games before they picked their team to go to the World Cup. So I'm just if it happens, it happens. If not, whatever. But you can't ignore the person at the dairy who you see, most days saying, oh man, you're going to get picked in the All Blacks, or, you talk to a kid at club rugby and he's like, oh, you're going to make the All Blacks. So you kind of hear those whispers, but secretly you're like, man, I hope that's me. But you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. So you kind of just letting all the noise kind of circle around. But yeah, back to it. It's Sunday and we've gone out for lunch. I got my cousin Danny there, who's travelled with me around the world heaps. And I got Treves. I think Tip's there as well.
Tippity Friday
with me at the time. Yeah, bro. So good old Tip. He lived with me. I think he still owes me rent, but that's all right.
For another day.
But so we ended up going to lunch and stuff like that, and I was just like, oh, the team's been named, but I didn't check or didn't listen for it, and then my phone just starts buzzing, bro, and it's just WhatsApp, and the boys are just losing it, you did it, bro, can't believe it, congrats, everyone's just chahooing and going crazy. And then I just listened to the message, and I'm just sitting in the driveway, and my cousin's like, you all good? I was like, bro, I made the All Blacks. And he's like, fuck off. I was like, bro, I made it. And then we got out of the car, and then there was everybody was kind of just happy for me, and we were just hugging and just having a laugh, and my cousin was had tears in his eyes, and I was like, fuck, that's my oldest cousin. He's always been the man to a few of us growing up, so he's probably my favorite cousin. But yeah, he was pretty emotional, and that kind of made me emotional. And yeah, that was it, bro. I found out through WhatsApp, because I was too scared to watch the TV.
Why didn't you watch it? Or just too scared and you didn't want to be disappointed, or?
Yeah, that was it, bro. So like I said before, I heard my name thrown out a bit, and I was thinking, my form's been pretty good, and
yeah.
We won the night before, and I went not too bad, and I guess I just wasn't really, I just didn't want to be disappointed, so I was kind of just nah, hope for the best but expect the worst kind of thing,
Yeah,
so I was just low-key hoping, but in the back of my mind, I was it's not going to happen. And then I got named, and it was just crazy. It was crazy cool, man.
Childhood dreams, brother. Tick. That's unbelievable, bro. We've been talking about rugby for the last fucking 40 minutes, and what I really wanted to talk about, and I know, I guess because the climate right now we're in with COVID, and I feel like quite a lot of stuff's going online now. So thinking of going forward, being COVID, has it sort of made you think a little bit more about what you're going to do after rugby, or what happens if, there's obviously going to be rugby, but what if happens if, tomorrow there's no more rugby for 2 years,
Yeah, that was actually kind of a weird feeling, waking up sort of initially first 6 weeks, I got no schedule. I don't have to go and do weights.
Yeah.
No one's telling me to do running. I don't have to jump on a walk bike, whatever. But yeah, to answer your question quite plainly and simply, I I don't really have a plan, or I didn't really have a plan, like, but my brother who's kind of like in the, corporate world right now, he's always at me like, bro, you need to like use the connections that you get through your sponsors and things like that to, like go along, see what they do as a business, and, like you might just find something. But to be honest, bro, I've always wanted to be a police officer. I don't know why.
Hey.
It's something that, yeah, bro, like if I wasn't a rugby player, I'd probably be doing that, and probably like doing that in the hope that I could work with sort of Māori or PI kids who are sort of at risk. Like to work with the youth and try to steer them in sort of the right direction, whether that's sport, whether that's, education, whether that's, their own businesses, because some of these kids are so smart, but they just lack the guidance or the opportunity to really bring their talent out. You know what I mean? And I guess the big thing that's changed these days is sort of the internet and how you can make a career for yourself, or, what you can do. You got to look at someone like, he's been on your podcast before, like Joe Damon, like someone like that. Like there's different avenues these days to making it, or, to doing what you want to do in life. And, he's a perfect example. And, I'm sure there's so many kids out there, especially Māori and PI kids who come from low socioeconomic backgrounds who just don't quite see that way. And, they tend to go down another path that, tends to add to the statistics. But that, they're just as talented and they have just as much charisma, and, you know what I mean? They're just as funny.
Sure.
But they don't really know how to channel what they want to do in the right ways, and they end up going somewhere else. So that's probably what I'd like to do, bro.
So like providing gateways and opportunities for Māori and Pacific Islanders to, I guess, have the same opportunities as everyone else. Yeah, it's funny, bro. You're talking about like corporate before, about like, how your sponsors like ANZ and whatnot, and you sort of have like, who I was talking to about? I was talking to Dolph, talking to Stephen Lawtor about it, and how you have access to all these sponsors. I was talking to Corey Webster about it, Corey Webster, and I was saying, bro, you got all this access to CEOs of ANZ and these massive corporations, bro. And me, I'm in IT and I'm working with these sort of people all the time. I'm talking to people in ANZ, I'm talking to people in corporate. And for me to have the access to talk to a CEO of ANZ, bro, and even just to pick his brain or just to, suss something out for the future is massive. And I feel like, people like yourself who have sponsors like ANZ or whatever, have access to these sort of people, and you don't understand how big of a deal that actually is, You just think, oh, fuck, I got media today, I got to go fucking talk to these people, like those ones where it's like, bro, these guys can fucking suss you out after rugby, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, and that's probably something that my brother has been massive on me. He's like been on top of me, and, some days I'm like, bro, shut up. Like, why you keep talking to me like this? Like, whatever. But like, he's actually right. And I just got to, he says something like only 1% of the rugby players actually take control of what they can, of who they can access. And the people that can access are like the top 1%. But like nobody, nobody in rugby like kind of like goes out and does it. In rugby, there's only 1% of the players that actually go and access the 1% that anybody can kind of access, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And he's always like, bro, you can like just like, he's like, send me this whole list of like all the sponsors, and he's like, bro, go just email them and be like, hey, I'm such and such from rugby, I'd like to come in and
have a chat
to you or whatever. Yeah, and that's like, it's actually true, you know what I mean? Because these people were actually, while as athletes, we think, I definitely have thought this over my life, when it's come to like corporate events or whatever, is like, fuck, I just think, fuck, what have I got to offer? But actually, when you actually start to talk to these people, they're like interested in like, how a team works, how a high performance team works, and then you start talking and you're kind of like, oh, actually, I actually know a little bit more than I actually think, just because you've been in these team environments. And I guess sport and business are very similar, is that you've got to be able to understand people and understand like how to get a team to work, because everybody comes from different backgrounds. Everybody's, like in business, you've got men, women, you've got different ethnicities. You've got to be able to mold those people into, a team, and a team that's high performing and works well and wants to achieve stuff so that your business is successful. And essentially that's just a rugby team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like good rugby teams like the All Blacks or whatever, they're a combined group of individuals who come together with a particular set of skills and are able to make those skill sets work in a high performance environment. And then they're like results driven, and you see the results. So, businesses are like, man, I want what they're having.
Yeah. 100%, bro.
So, we got to do better at trying to access those people as rugby players, because they are there and they are willing to help you. Yeah. I think we just got to be willing to help ourselves.
Yeah, for sure, bro. And that's a good way to put it. And Toops is right, bro. The top 1%, that's crazy when you think about it, because you've got, all these players have got access. And honestly, bro, coming from my shoes and seeing, bro, how hard it is to try and get hold of these guys, bro, it's crazy how much, how much of an impact you can have, and how you can just go talk to them, bro. You email them, hey, bro, you want to catch up for a coffee? Like, that doesn't happen, But, bro, I want to go back to Super Rugby real quick. What are your thoughts on the whole Super Rugby Aotearoa, and what are your thoughts on how the Blues started and the Canes, and what's your thoughts on the whole competition, bro?
Well, obviously, like a big up to NZ, because right now there's no rugby going on in the world.
Yeah.
So all eyes are locked on New Zealand, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Everybody here, there's like, oh, bro, have you been watching rugby? I'm like, yeah, no shit, I'm watching the rugby. What else did I watch, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what else am I going to
do? Yeah, like it's wicked. It's a wicked opportunity for the game in New Zealand to sort of grow worldwide and whatnot. And obviously with the failed World Cup last year by the boys, it's a lot of guys have left, and now there's a whole bunch of new kids coming through. You got to look at the Blues and guys like Hoskins, Sotutu, and Caleb Clark, and Rico's moved into centre. So like there's a whole bunch of different things that's going on at the moment. I just think it's awesome. Like Blues are looking pretty deadly. Their first two games have looked totally different. Like against the Chiefs, it was very gritty. Like it was wet. And traditionally, those are the games where over the last sort of couple of years, the Blues have bottled it. They didn't have enough. I don't know. It just felt like they didn't have enough belief up front or whatnot. But it just, led by Paddy Toops. You had Offa in there. You had Akira. You had Hoskins. You had Parsons. They just rolled their sleeves up against the Chiefs and just got to work. And then against the Hurricanes, they just found a way, took their opportunities. And like the Blues of old, like 2-3 years ago, they wouldn't have won that game against the Hurricanes, but they've really come into their shell. And, I guess you got guys like Dan Carter and Bowden Barrett there that just bring so much like clarity and calmness and experience that it probably tends to rub off on everyone. And I think it's awesome for the game. And then you got, the Canes are sort of 0 from 2 right now. And, just not quite hitting it on the head properly, missing a few opportunities or letting a few opportunities in. And, I've been there myself where you're sort of in games and you've lost one game and you really need to win the next one. And sometimes when you try harder, it goes worse. You know what I mean? So I think they're all good. And then, the Chiefs as well, they've got a new coach and just unsure about them. They were actually a team that I picked to win the comp, but
straight up,
with the way this comp is, I picked, like if you look at their team, they got, Sam Kane's not playing, but you've got Nepo Lalala up front, Atu Moli, Luke Jacobson, and then you've got guys like Anton Brown, Damian McKenzie, Aaron Kruger, Brad Weber, God, that's some quality. But for whatever reason, it just hasn't really clicked. And then Crusaders are Crusaders, quality across the park, 20 All Blacks in their team or whatever it is. But, they've got up and comers as well. Like Will Jordan pretty nice out there
Bruh.
against the Hurricanes. And yeah, you know what I mean? So you got guys like that, and then off their back line and their fullback, you got Sam Whitelock still there as well. And then, the Highlanders are a team, traditionally of a whole bunch of offcuts, but they're led by, a very, very smart coach and Tony Brown. And I think what they're bringing is just that old school hardness back with a bit of teamwork. And I think they'll just chip away under the radar, and you never know where they might end up at the competition's end.
Yeah, it's crazy though. With the Canes, bro, I feel like, with the Blues, you know how I always do the analogy, like, if you got someone like LeBron James in your team, you're sort of just already halfway there, And I feel like now the Blues have got someone like Bodie and Dan Carter. It's just like, you've got to perform, bro. You don't have another choice now. Like, there's no fucking around, because there's two goats now that are in my team. We've got to pick. We've got to push the pedal. Where, a few other teams, I guess, are lacking. I wouldn't say the Canes were lacking experience because they got Dane Coles and they got TJ, but I don't know what it is, bro. I think when you don't have a playmaker as such up to the level, which I feel like just mucks the whole team up a little bit, bro. Like, what I wanted you to do was come back and play for the Canes, bro. But I guess that's not going to happen, is it? Fuck. Do you think there's any other up and coming? Anyway. Are there any other up and coming players that you could potentially see like that would fit into that role?
At the Canes or just in general?
Just in general, bro.
As a 10, bro, there's some really good players coming through. I mean, like you got to look at guys like Mitch Hunt, who have moved from the Crusaders down to Dunedin, and then you've got Brent Gatlin, who came on and had that clutch drop goal, to win. So the talent is there. To be honest, it's the guy that I really was hoping would come on, and the Blues are stuck by him, is Otere Black.
Bro,
I think he's such a nice player. He's so undervalued, and like, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw someone like him be headhunted by the Canes to come back. You got Bodie at the Blues. Like, eventually they're either gonna move him back to 10, or they're gonna keep him at fullback. But that would probably be my move as a GM if I was Avon me. But then again, he's already moved once. He was at the Canes and then had to move because Bodie was at the Blues, and then he's moved to the Blues, and now Bodie's at the Blues. So
fucking poor bugger, eh?
Yeah, poor guy, can't catch a break. But like, if they keep it as it is and the status quo, like, he's someone that's real nice. I feel like someone that's very, very undervalued. Like, kind of like a Drew Holiday. You know what I mean?
Bro, hard. He's definitely proved his worth for sure, bro. He's so cool, calm, and collective. He knocks the kicks down, bro, and I was recently speaking to one of the Canes boys about it and how he's gone up and then, left, and then Bodie followed him. Bodie, bro, can't catch a break, hey? Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Anyway, bro, what I thought, we'll get into the Q&As, bro. I got a Q&As from last week. Some of them pretty funny, some of them left off because for obvious reasons. All right, first one's from Hayden Griffiths. How do you get in the zone before a game and like not let outside noise get in your head?
I guess that's changed over time, really, like, and probably especially having kids, like I said earlier, a bit of perspective. So before games, when I was coming up, I was like, fuck, I need to win. I need to like play amazing. I need to be like 10 out of 10, like everything like that. I need to score all these tries. But I guess as the years have gone on and I've kind of learned a few things, playing a few different games, it's just about being relaxed for me, listen to some good music, or I might listen to a podcast on the drive in, and that kind of just relaxes me. And then when I step out of my car and head into the stadium, that's kind of when I start to really just enjoy myself, because I've done all the work during the week. Like, I've done all the shitty, like gym, and had to, do the extra fitness or whatever. I guess game day is the day that you get to express yourself. So, like now I just try and go to the stadium with a smile on my face, and I just think, fuck, man, for the next 80 minutes or whatever it is, I get to just have fun and enjoy my job. So enjoy my job, looking like just looks like coming ready. And when I get out there, just compete hard for 80 minutes. You know, whatever happens on the grass for 80 minutes happens. And, you know, if there's bad blood left on the grass, you know, you have a scuffle or whatever, you just leave it there, you know, or someone, you know, trash talks you just leave it there. After the 80 minutes, you get off, and, you know, if you've won, so be it. If you're lost, you know, it is what it is, and you move on and you just shake hands, have a beer with the other guy upstairs in the aftermatch, and you go about it, you know what I mean? So I don't get too caught up in everything now. I just kind of just take it as it comes and really enjoy it.
Yeah, and I guess that comes with experience, so.
Yeah.
This next one's from @JessAlwyn. Favorite teammate and why?
Favorite teammate? Oh, I've had some pretty wicked teammates in my time, but yeah, wow, that's a hard one. I'd probably, like, one of my favorite teammates of all time is probably Sonny Bill Williams, for the fact that he gets so much gears that he never notices when his gears go missing. So, like, you know, like, you'll be in All Blacks camp and he's just got like boxes and boxes of stuff, and you're just like, yo, take his gears.
What, more than anyone else?
Notice. Yeah, bro, that guy's freaking superstar. So, like, he would just have like so much cool shit, bro. Or like, so he would probably be my favorite for the fact that, like, he'd have all the gears, bro, and you could just be like, yo, I'm gonna wear his shorts, and he wouldn't even notice, bro.
Like, that's crack up, bro. This one's from This one's from @Boston on Blair. If you know, you know. If you could go on a bender with one of your mates, who would it be?
Oh. Yeah, it's a big old job, Dad, eh? So I can only pick one.
You can only pick one, brother. You and him are going to the depths together.
Yeah. Well, I'll pick this guy, Jay Mills, because Jay Mills pays the bills. That's
Fucking
why.
A.
He'd probably have all the money on day 4 when I've run out of money. So Jay Mills pays the bills. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's crack up. This one is from Stephen.Jenkins. What is your? This is a pretty deep question, and I think it'll be pretty hard. But what is your biggest learning so far?
It's probably to especially with social media and, like, you know, news articles and things like that. It's really not listening to what people have to say about you, like, not really giving a toss about what people think about you, because the people who actually matter to you is always going to love you. But, like, you know, you might play one bad game and then someone's like, fuck, he's shit, you know, get rid of him, he's mud cakes or whatever, you know, like, oh, he sucks, you know, he's all this stuff. It's just all noise, you know, and sometimes I think you can get caught up in it, always trying to, like, please people who don't actually matter to you.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's been an awesome learning for me coming through sort of rugby, is like, don't give a F who, like, what people think. Just do whatever you want to do, like, do what makes you happy, and, you know, stuff everybody else, because at the end of the day, you'll have those who will ride for you come hell or high water, and you'll know who those people are, and those are the only people that matter. Yeah,
that's a good answer, bro. This one's from @2PaulSops. Why are you so short?
Bro, I get a lot of stick about that, eh? Bro, I'm 5'10", bro. 5'10" is not a bad height, man.
5'10" with high heels?
5'10" on a good day, bro. On a good day. No, I get that so much, eh? I feel short. Yeah. It's like, bro, like, you know, like, I'd just be grateful to be like 6'8". Like, even 5'11" would be nice. You know, that's not too much to ask, but, you know, the Lord made me the way I am, so that's the way I am, brother. So you just got to take what you can get, eh?
Oh, bro, you got to take it, bro. You got to take it. This one's from @Jessica.Williams. Wheeler. Have you ever thought about coaching after rugby?
Bro, I have, but I just think it would be too much admin. Eh? I honestly don't know if I want to be around the game when I finish playing.
True.
Yeah, well, that's how I'm feeling right now. Tomorrow
Yeah.
I might wake up and be like, "Fuck, I want to be All Black coach."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah.
I get that question quite a bit, and like I think if anything, I'd like to be like a skills coach. You know, kind of like how I said before. You know, like that NBA dude, how he's like specializes in
Yeah, bro.
Drills and stuff like that. You know, maybe come up with like sick drills or like cool ways to help goal kickers or something like that. Maybe that's probably something that I'd be genuinely passionate about.
Yeah. No, that's mean, bro. All right, so when I get people on the potty, I'm a bit of a foodie, bro. I like my Guineas, I like my Macca. So what I thought is that I always do my 3-course meal, bro. So it can be any cuisine, anything, but you've also got to pick someone to have with, like a celebrity. So yeah, firstly, who would you want to share the meal with?
Man,
There's a few ways you
could
can
be
go
a
about it.
girl, guy. Yeah. Could be a girl, could be a guy, could be anything. Eh?
Anything,
Like,
brother.
could be anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because I say celebrity now, bro, because the first couple podcasts I was like, oh yeah, say just someone you want to share it with, and people were like, oh, my wife. Like, okay, cool. Like, you have dinner with her every night. Come on, like a celebrity, like someone that wants to inspire you or wants to make you crack up, or you've always,
Yeah, that's a hard one, bro. But I think I'd have to go with someone who I reckon like would be like crack up, like not too straight, but not like out the gate.
Kevin
You know
Hart.
what I mean? Like, yeah, like like you want them like to be a bit funny or maybe like take you out and do something or whatever, but like not be too crazy. Like Dan Bilzerian or some shit like that. Like they'll be dry.
Yeah,
Like
hard.
yeah, I reckon Kevin Hart's a good one.
Kevin Hart.
He'd probably be someone I'll share with. Oh nah, to be honest, I'd probably be like I'd want someone like young and like someone who's keen. So probably like say like Lonzo Ball or something like that.
Yo.
I reckon he'll be me. He'll probably take you hang around all his brothers, and I reckon he'll be crack up like mellow, like and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, that'd be
You know
mean
what I mean?
actually. It'd be crack out to like hang out with that family for a bit and see how they actually are, eh, bro? Because I know Lonzo's real like straight and narrow in his interviews and shit, but when you see him hanging out with his brothers, he's the complete opposite, eh? Just like funny as, like, So yeah, it's a good one, bro.
Yeah, I'll probably I'll go for Lonzo Ball. I reckon he'll probably be like, he seems pretty like low key, but I reckon beneath it all he'll probably be like pretty crack up.
Hard. All right, what would your starter be, bro?
Starter. Any cuisine, eh?
Any cuisine, brother.
Any cuisine.
You're on a time machine.
A starter. I'll probably go for like some sushi, bro.
Bro, what's up with rugby players and sushi, bro? Straight up. Straight up.
Oh, I don't know.
Every fucking Dolph, what are you going to have? Sushi. Fucking when I talked to Wes, it came for sushi. It's like, bro, what is it with sushi?
Bro, I don't know, bro. It's just, like I said, like how those guys used to take me out, bro. Like Rodney and them, they took me to, was it St. Pierre or whatever?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Is that the sushi? Like that's kind of like pretty budget, but like
yeah.
that was the first time I've ever had sushi, bro. And they told me the wasabi was avocado, bro.
Oh.
And I ate the wasabi, bro, and like I was sweating on my forehead and stuff, but I just pretended that it wasn't hot the whole time. I was like, "Wow, that's mean avocado," but bro,
that's a soft stitch up.
On fire. I was on fire, bro. And they were just like laughing at me. I was just like, I'll probably go sushi, bro. Sushi.
What about for your main?
Main, I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna go for a big steak, bro, like a Boston chop, reverse seared, medium rare.
Damn.
Just go with that.
The big motherfucker.
I'll go with that, bro. That would be me.
What
mushroom sauce on the side?
Oh, mushroom sauce even.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Mushroom sauce on the side, and that's it. And then dessert, I probably would go for like a.
Because you hate a dessert, eh?
Like yeah, bro. Oh, the guinea. Bro, love a dessert, bro. One time when I got injured, I got injured and I would have been like 90 kilo. And I think my folds were about 52. But I came back after my big injury. I'd like gone traveling and stuff like that. Bro, jumped on the scales, bro. I was like 99.7 and 120 skin folds.
Holy shit.
Bro, I proper lost it, man.
That's proper lost it. How long were you away for?
Bro, so I did my shoulder and I was away for like six months or something like that. But I was out of the game for 6 months, but the coach said I could go and travel. So I think I went away, like came to Welly for like 3 weeks and then went to Aussie for like 3 weeks. Bro, I was having like a 12 pack of Krispy Kremes for breakfast like every second day.
How good though, eh? Oh.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
Fucking.
And for dessert, I'll probably have like a triple chocolate mud cake or something like that. Yeah.
Holy shit, yeah, bro. That's the one, cuz that's the one. So you're gonna have it with Lonto Ball, and you're gonna have that. That sounds fucking legit, bro. All right, last question. Where do you want to see yourself in 10 years from now?
10 years from now, hopefully I've got maybe another kid or two. Hopefully.
Big whānau.
Got a fingers crossed, like if it happens, it happens. Yeah. And then definitely living back in New Zealand.
Yep.
So what am I now? 29. I'll be 39 in 10 years time. And then, I'd love to have like a mortgage-free home. One less stress on my life and for my kids, and then I'd like to be doing something in the community, bro. Like I said before, like working with the youth, or just working with kids who want to be better or who aren't sort of like on the right path. That's probably what I want to do, and then just being able to just watch my kids grow and enjoy their life and give them the opportunities that sort of I wasn't able to have, not because my parents didn't try or anything, but just things were tight with 6 kids. So hopefully I can be able to provide just for my kids in that way, and then hopefully by then just be enjoying New Zealand for the unbelievable beauty that it is. It's an unbelievable country, and can't wait to get back.
It's crazy, bro. Even when I moved to the UK, like I want to get out of Wally's, bro. Like, fuck this place, G. Like, fuck's too small. Know everyone. Like, fuck everyone. I go away, bro. I go away, and I'm like, holy shit, it's next level back home. Like, I'm gonna do my stint, but I feel like all Kiwis head home, because of the beautiful, as you say, the beautiful place it is, bro. And 100% I took it for granted, and I'm sure quite a lot of people do take it for granted. Like, even my boys, because they haven't been away yet. They're like, oh, shit, blah, blah. And I was like, bro, just go away, and then you'll appreciate it so much more, bro.
Yeah. I think that's, like you've done well, bro. And the fact that you were like, I'm going to go and travel the world with my missus, and you've probably seen some unbelievable places as well. You've probably seen things or been to places that you've never even heard of. And
for sure.
And you realize on this side, man, like how lucky are we back in New Zealand to have, beaches, rivers, lakes.
Yeah.
Like we have the mountains. During the winter you can go snowboarding, whatever, and then in the summer you can, do all your water sports, whatever. Like it's
a couple of manus.
It's pretty surreal, Yeah. Pop a couple of manus down the wharf. But yeah, bro, we are so lucky, eh?
Yeah. Awesome, bruv. Hey, well, appreciate you coming on in such a late time, and seeing, as I say, you kicking at Wellington College after doing your extras and to where you are as a rugby player today, it's inspirational and it's amazing, bro. But not only that, you know, the person you've become with your kids and, you know, seeing the other side of you, it's really awesome, bro. And knowing you for a long time, you know, the progression to where you are today, it's as I say, inspirational, bruv. And I truly do mean that. So wishing you and your whānau all the best of the future, and stay safe over there, brother. And as I say, that 10 jersey back at the Canes has got your fucking name on it, brother. So get it your ass back.
No, I appreciate it, bro. Awesome to come on here, man. Like, share a yarn and, you know, talk, and cool to see you doing your thing as well, brother. It's awesome, man. So good on you, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Catch up soon, eh?
All good.
Let's go.